Howdy ho, you handsome hunk. Grab a snack and gain some chunk. If your day is great or really sunk, we hope to help you shake the funk. So if you're good to hear some junk, buckle up, it's the Junk Monk Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Junk Monk Podcast. I'm your host Kandyce Sloan, who you know from Instagram at Hardens and Hard Hats.
And I'm Noah, your co-host, who you know from Right Now.
If this is your first time listening, let us fill you in. We are watching and reviewing every episode of the USA hit TV show Monk right here each week.
And we are going to do so while eating a little bit of junk. So, I've got my junk food here, which is actually some salt and vinegar potato chips, which I don't think I'm going to be eating a lot because I am very full.
Well, we did eat right before this, and also Toby, he's not the smartest, and he bought the wrong chips, so Noah wanted kettle cooked chips, and these are just regular salt and vinegar chips.
Which, I mean, it sounds very, picky, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say I don't like kettle cooked chips, so if someone got me kettle cooked chips when I asked for salt and vinegar chips, I would be like, ugh. But you asked for, the Cape Cod ones, and did not happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I have some sweet potato chips because sweet potatoes are paleo, and they're very simple ingredients. Sweet potatoes, organic coconut oil, and sea salt.
Oh, wow.
And that is it. Also, you must know, I've seen every episode of Monk. I'm a huge fan, started watching in 2007, and for the most part, watched it as it aired.
I've seen seasons 1 and 2, and we are now working on season 3.
Yes, we have 3 episodes left of season 3 that no one needs to see. And also, of course, the ones we've done on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, if you're ready to start the show, Toby, take it away.
Here's what happened.
It's a little different. Spicing it up, okay?
This is Mr. Monk Goes Camping, Season 8, Episode 12. Here's what happened. In the opening scene, we see Adrian starting his day and getting ready for a reinstatement hearing. When the hearing begins, it seems to be going well until one of the panel members, Frank Willis, has doubts about Adrian returning to the force. After leaving the hearing, Monk heads to the scene of a fatal armed car robbery. There he decides he needs to play the networking game to better his chances of returning to the force. His plan comes together when he overhears Randy is taking a group of boys on a camping trip, one of them being Brian, the son of Frank Willis. Monk decides to tag along for the weekend to impress the son and get into the good graces of Willis. Meanwhile, 2 known criminals, brothers, Dell and Lucas Johnston, have been pegged by Stottlemyre as the gunmen from the robbery. Spooked, they go to clean up their mess they made at Spider Lake, the same place Randy has taken the kids. The outing isn't going great for Monk, and the 2 gunmen crash the trip. They start to follow the group and pillage the campsite, attracting a hungry bear. This disorients the group after running away from the site, making their weekend even worse. The gunmen finally confront the group and offer to buy a fish that Brian had caught with his makeshift lure. When they are persistent, Monk puts it together that the fishing lure was made out of a shell that belonged to their shotgun. He realizes that they are the murderers of the robbery and also realizes that they are in danger. Luckily, Randy is able to surprise attack the brothers and turn the guns on them. Monk ends up impressing Brian, but ultimately does not get reinstated after all.
All right. That was Mr. Monk Goes Camping.
Woo woo. I feel like I did good reading that one.
You did. You did really well.
Thank you. I only messed up once, and usually we have to cut out 80 billion. I'm like, Mr. Mank.
Every time.
All right, Kandyce, what did you like about this episode?
Okay, this one's very, very small, but it's the first thing I jotted down. The little Natalie notes.
Yes.
The sticky notes that she leaves around the apartment. They were so cute. It was he wakes up and, because you don't really know what's going on, Monk just opens his little bureau, and you see him grab his uniform, and you were like, what is happening? And then Natalie has a note. It's good luck today or whatever. Smile. And then he goes into the bathroom and he's practicing smiling, and it says, but not too much. And then so he stops smiling like a serial killer. And then he goes into the hallway, I guess, and it says be yourself. It's all crooked. There's a painting that's crooked, and she stuck a sticky note to it so that he would go and fix it and then grab it. And he fixes it, and then it's be yourself. And then he walks through the kitchen, and there's another little sticky note that says, but not to yourself. And it's so cute.
So cute. Monk and Natalie is so supportive, and this is why she's the better of Natalie and Sharona.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
we're still on this till the bitter end.
Sharona would have been like, hey, you'll probably fail because you're crazy.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? That's
not wrong.
That Sharona accent was like Sharona at 80 years old who's been smoking for the past 30 years. Or oh my gosh.
Mr. Monk, you're not going anywhere.
Anyways.
You're not going anywheres. Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, I like the Natalie notes. There's that.
Sharona would have just spit on him and been like...
No, I think Sharona would have been encouraging, but just probably a more like after the fact. I feel like you would have seen that more from her. Like, how did it go? Like, I don't know if I see her writing him notes like Natalie, but Sharona's better. Okay. I also have Monk's hearing. Like when he goes to the hearing, he gets there at 7:15, and the sign on the outside says, Adrian Monk reinstatement hearing 1 p.m. And so you see him sitting there and sitting there and sitting there. And then the panel finally comes in and they're like, oh, have you been waiting long? And he's like, no, not really. He totally lies, which is interesting. They didn't show any like OCD things from him sitting there. Like he didn't notice anything was crooked or messed up or anything. But he does, during the meeting, it's very evident that he doesn't know the social cues.
Yeah.
Did you have anything about that or?
No, not really, but it was just cringy.
Yeah. It
like,
was
uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's like, it's one of those things where you're like, it's funny Monk stuff, and so, but you don't know, like, if this is hurting his chances of being reinstated. Like, are we supposed to be thinking that it's funny, or are we supposed to be cringing at it?
Yeah.
And, like, how, like, the one lady that was, I mean, I guess the other guy was on his side too, but the one who was more adamant about being on his side was the woman. And she's like, oh, you work with Nevin Bell. I've known him for years. He's a great man. Tell him I said hi. And Monk's like, oh, I will. Do you want me to use your phone or what? And she's like, oh, no, like, when you see him next. And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God. Like, it's funny.
For like 30 seconds. Or not 30, 15 probably.
Because she kind of gives it a chuckle. And then so he's like,
yeah.
Yeah. And then also he keeps smiling. And then they're like, are you okay? And he's like, yep, just smiling.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It's not like inherently like, whoa, we can't give this weirdo a badge. But it's also, I don't know what I would have done in that situation if I was one of those people on the panel. But like,
yeah. Because also it's like, it's one of those things where like, there's a lot of weirdos out there.
Yeah.
And they get jobs. So it's not like it's not like no one that's a weirdo like doesn't get hired. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, and then Monk has his fantastic resume behind him. So, and like he got discharged because he had a psychotic break, as in like a sad, tragic, like he, was depressed all the time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So like the fact that he might be a little bit of obscure on like the social norms of like when to laugh, when to smile, that's not a reason to keep him from joining the force. So that's what I was saying. Like it was funny, but also like you don't know if it's hurting his chances. So you're kind of like, oh, this is rough. It's funny, but it's rough. Yeah. So what's your first like?
My first like, I already said Natalie being supportive, but...
Oh, okay.
My second like is some random kid is on Xanax. Like, I guess this is before it was like some big like thing or whatever, but like, some kid is just like, what does he even say?
Are you talking about whenever they're around the campfire?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, I have kind of... I wanted to write down the whole thing, but I'm going off memory. But they're around the campfire, and it starts where Randy is, like, telling them a scary story. And so he's, like, saying, like, there was a psycho, and he roamed the woods, and he had his whole buildup is, like, he had a hook hand, or whatever. And then Monk is like, yeah, no, don't worry, kids. They don't use hook hands. They use prosthetics. They're made out of plastic. Like, they don't use hook. And then Randy's like, no, it was a hook. But it was a hook. And he's like, yeah, but it probably wasn't a hook. And he's like, it was a hook. Okay? And then he's like, yeah, he escaped from the mental asylum. And Monk is like, which one? And he's like, it's, Rikers, or I don't know what he said. But he's like, that one shut down like 20 years ago. And he's like, well, then it was a different one. Like, well, which one was it? And he's like, I don't remember. Doesn't matter. And then Monk is like, because what did he say? He's like, Randy's like, but the point is that he could flip any second. He could be angry and he could just turn on you and murder you or whatever. And then Monk's like, yeah, he was probably bipolar.
Like, don't worry, they have medicine for it now.
They have medicine for that. And then that's where the kid is like, what?
He's just like,
he's like,
yeah, I have meds for that or something.
Yeah, he's like, I guess Monk says something like they probably prescribed him like trifiterol or something. Mm-hmm. And the little kid's like, that's an excellent drug or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the kid's like some expert about it. Because he takes like, he said, oh, by the way, like, can I take my pills now?
Oh, yeah. He's like, that's an excellent drug. Speaking of, I need to take my medicine. Yeah, and then he's like, yeah, I don't know what kind of drug it was. He's like, I guess, maybe, does Randy say something like, no, he didn't take that or something? And then like, the little kid's like, did he take this? Did he take Adderall? Did he take Xanax or whatever? And he's like, that's what I take. And starts going on this rant about his drugs. It's so funny. I had that kid too. I had that part. And then also the, whenever at the beginning, the kid starts just climbing on top of the thing. Car, yeah. At first he wants to get shotgun. And Randy's like, nope, all the kids sit in the back. And he like pulls him out and then he climbs on top of the car. And then he's like, oh, okay, nope, come down. And the kid's like, you're so slow. And then Randy's like, all right, Mom and Dad, can I get a little help here? This kid is going bonkers before they even take him anywhere. But yeah, I totally had that kid too.
Yeah.
The next thing that I had was the Randy's Buddies in Blue. I thought it was a good like mini callback to the little buddy that we got to see in, what episode was that?
The motor shop thing. He actually stole it, but it had something to do with the cameras.
Mr. Monk Takes a Stand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I thought it was a nice like good mini little callback to that because we always like know that Randy, besides the beginning, we know Randy's like a good guy, right? And that he seems to do charitable things like that outside of work. Mm-hmm. And then so like when they mention like, oh, he was my little buddy, you're like, okay, like maybe it was a little bit of a forced storyline, like trying to make Randy seem like this good guy who does things outside work. But then this is like, you actually get to see him in action doing this. Yeah. You're like, oh, this is the kind of stuff that Randy does on his downtime, which makes sense because, before this he didn't, like he had a spouse or a girlfriend or anything like that. So it makes sense that he's just a good guy who likes to mentor young men. Yeah. So I really liked that aspect. And I felt like it was extremely believable.
My next like is Monk out of all the kids is like the slowest one in the hiking group. They're like hiking over like this tree and everyone's going over it. And they're like all the way down the hill and Monk's still at the tree. It's so sad.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
He's just like so probably he's just so like scared. You don't remember that? The entire, like, group is just, like, so far in front of him. And he's, like, supposed to be, like, their instructor or whatever, and he's way behind. I like it, because Monk's just, like, one of the kids.
I guess I missed that. I was probably jotting something down. I just noticed him using the bug spray.
Yes,
like
he's behind that scene.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. He's, like, behind them, and he's bug spraying. I get what you're... I think... Because he was by himself and he's bug spraying and I was thinking like, what is he bug spraying? So I jotted it down as a crazy moment. And then by the time I looked back up, he was spraying it again. Mm-hmm. Like on everybody and everything. So yeah. Let's see. I have another thing about Randy, which makes sense because my next thing is so much Randy action.
Yes.
Did you have anything about that?
I did.
Okay.
I just had something about the happiness is a choice thing.
That's what I had.
I think it's cute. But I think it's even cuter that, like... it's cute that it's, like, off a bumper sticker, but it's even cuter that it's, like, Randy still got the lesson even though it was on a flaming car. Like, he was like, well, epiphanies, you don't get to pick and choose where they come from. Like,
that was actually really good, because it wasn't just a, like... I saw that and I was like, I'm inspired by that. He got it even though the car was burning, But then also the innocence of Randy is like, Monk is like, where did you see this? He's like, on a bumper sticker. And he's like, well, I mean, I saw half of it. It was like melting. It was on a burning car. And Monk's like, wait. So the bumper sticker that you saw that said happiness is a choice was on a car that was on fire. And he's like, yeah. So like, you can't control where you get your epiphanies from. Could be on a burning Subaru. Like,
he's not wrong.
Yeah. He's not. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I put so much Randy action in the sense of like, we've had a few, I say a few, two. Mr. Monk Goes to the Dentist and the Visits a Farm. Those were our Randy-centric episodes.
Mr. Monk and Meets the Godfather?
That's not a Randy-centric episode. Noah's just mentioning that because he just saw it. That was the Sharona Randy moment. But no, that episode was not about Randy at all.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, so those were like our 2 episodes, and I never realized how much Randy was in this episode.
Yeah.
Like, this is a pretty, like, because, like, not to get into anything else, but, like, where's Natalie and the captain? Like, this is a very Monk and Randy.
They're off kissing.
And that's the thing, too, is it's not even really, like, Monk-Randy duo where, like, Visits a Farm was. Mm-hmm. Like, they were, like, solving the crime together. They weren't solving a crime. Mm-hmm. They were together. Randy was, like, with the kids. Monk was doing this. Sometimes they were together. There was just a lot of Randy action. And then also, did you remember that this happiness is a choice? That's Jason Gray Stanford's, like, his favorite phrase.
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Because whenever he said it, I was like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Jason says this at the end of his podcast every time.
Happiness is a choice?
Yeah.
That's cute.
I think so. Yeah. I've only listened to a few, but I believe he does say that. At least at the ones I listened to.
Okay. So my next like is, I love when Monk learns a new word, like, that he uses for an entire episode.
Uh-huh.
So, like, in The Critic, when he won't stop saying how poised Julie was in the...
Oh.
Yeah. So, in this one, he talks about schmoozing the entire time.
Oh, yes. That is
so
good.
Cute.
Is it schmoozing or smoozing?
Yeah, yes. He won't stop.
Yep. And then, what, because he says it again. Oh, he says it to the guy.
Yes.
He walks up and he's like, oh, Brian, you must be so proud of your dad. He's so cool or whatever. And then I don't even remember any of the dialogue. But at the end, like, Monk is just like chatting up the guy and his kid. And then he's like, okay, that's enough schmoozing.
Yeah.
He like says it like, that's not the point of schmoozing. You're supposed to act like you're not schmoozing.
Like, oh, okay, well, that's enough schmoozing. You want to go? Like,
yeah, that's enough schmoozing. He thinks it's like,
oh, that's enough kissing your butt.
Yeah,
like, yeah,
exactly. But he thinks it's like, that's enough chit chat.
Yeah,
or something like, it's enough small talk, or like, that's enough networking for my personal agenda.
Yes, yes.
Oh my gosh, exactly. So yeah, that's funny though, that when he learns a word like that, he beats it to death. And it's so good.
Exactly.
I have the bear summation. I thought that was pretty good.
Yes.
Him and Brian, right? Because what happens, Brian runs away with the fish, and so Monk is chasing after him because he knows it's important. Mm-hmm. And then they, like, I guess they fall or something, and then when they get up, they turn around and there's the giant bear who wants the fish. And the kid's like, he's forgotten that he wants the fish. He's like, give him the fish. Yeah. So he like throws him the fish, and then the bear's like, rah! Yeah. And he remembers from earlier that one of the kids had said, you're supposed to be calm, like remain calm, and speak to it calmly, and then slowly like walk away or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then so Monk is like, okay, so we're gonna remain calm. We're calm. Everybody's calm. He was like gritting his teeth. I was like trying not to make any loud noises. And the kid's like, he's like, what do we do now? And he's like, I don't know, tell him a story. And he's like, what do I say? And he's like, it's a bear. It doesn't matter. Just tell him anything. And then what does he tell him? Oh, he says, here's what happened. Duh. I forgot because I thought he was going to be like, so I used to be a former detective. I thought that's what he was going to say, and so I forgot.
Oh,
but
my
he's
God,
like,
that would have been so funny.
Okay, here's what happened, and then starts talking to him.
Yes.
So yeah, but I thought it was funny. We're calm. Everybody's calm. We're all calm. So yeah, and I actually liked the bear too. I thought they did a really good job of making it look like they were there with that bear.
Yeah.
I thought, because the first thing Noah was like, "Oh yeah, right, they were with the bear," and I was like, "Well, they could have been there because like bears are like one of the like main like show trained animals. Like you can actually like train a bear to do stuff. You can. They have like other animals like badgers and beavers and skunks and stuff like that. Like you can't train them, but like bears, you can train them to do stuff.
There's no way. There's no way. Because for Monk, it was pretty good CGI, I'd say. But like, it wasn't CGI. It was just like,
it was probably, I'm guessing it was like green screen.
Yes, it was green screen. But it was pretty good. But they couldn't quite get all the like hair right, I feel like. And I could just barely see like
a fuzzy outline of it.
Not really. I mean, like just at some points.
Oh, okay.
It's like, whoa. But most points I was like, oh, this is pretty solid.
Because yeah, it was the first thing that you said, and I was like, from then on, which was, you said it like right when it came on the screen, like you were like, oh yeah, like CGI, and I was like, really? Because I remember watching this episode and never thinking anything about it, and then I watched it really closely, and I was like, I think they did a pretty good job of making it look like, even when he like tosses the fish to the bear, like he tosses it in the same direction it lands where you think it would land and stuff. So I thought it was good, and I like a trained bear. So, how many more likes do you have?
I have 1, 2, 3.
Okay, I have 3 also. Oh no, actually, I have 2. So you go ahead.
So, the sequel to Monk's Cough is Monk's Scream.
Oh my gosh, this is one of the funniest laugh out loud things that is so surprising. Yes. I love it.
It's just the bear, because he just wakes up and the bear's just there.
Can we look it up?
Yeah, I'll look it up.
I think it's a hard setup because it's literally like the campers come and I guess they do this on purpose. I didn't really catch that. Like they're trying to clean up, I guess, their shell casings. So they need all the campers to scram. So they go to their bags with their food in it and break the bags on purpose so that it attracts the bear, so they'll run away. I'm assuming that's what happened. So whenever Monk is sleeping against the tree, the bear walks up, and then Monk just like turns and looks at the bear, and then
that was Monk, by the way.
Oh my god,
it's funny because it just doesn't match like his mouth almost.
Yeah,
it's like like literally like a sound effect almost. Like,
yeah, but it's like definitely not him screaming like Tony Shalhoub screaming.
Yes,
but you believe that it's Monk screaming. Like, you were screaming like a little girl. He's like, you were screaming like a little girl.
And then he's like, no, I was alerting you like Paul Revere. And he's like more like Paul Revere's little sister.
That's silly. Paul Revere didn't have a sister. Oh my god, that was good. That was good. I like that. Yes, Monk Scream is epic. My next thing is about the kid, actually, the main kid.
Oh yeah.
That he was so proud of his fish.
Yeah, I thought that was sweet.
When he actually like catches it. This kid's a punk the whole time. And then he catches the fish and he's like, oh my gosh, I caught a fish, my very first fish.
Yeah.
He's like super earnest about it and excited. And then whenever the guys try to buy it, he's like, no, it's for my dad. Like, I'm not giving away the fish. I'm not selling the fish. And then he also has a good line where he's like,
well, if you'll buy it for $50, you'll buy it for $500.
And they're like, no, okay, $75. And he's like, no, it's not for sale. No. He's very good. I like that kid. But, okay, I don't like the kid. I thought the actor did a great job.
I do love that actor.
I thought the actor did a great job, but we'll talk about it later. But yeah, he was proud of his fish. He wanted it for his dad. And then at the end, Monk gets the kid like on board with not like, I'm going to tell my dad about you, which he does, but like he kind of bonds with him at the end. I guess the bear thing, right? The bear thing is what kind of sends them over. And then at the end, whenever he's walking up to, like they're all going to get into their cars, and he walks up to Monk and he's like, I don't even remember the band he says, Constantines or something. That's from One Tree Hill.
Yeah.
But he's like, what? And he's like, that's my favorite band. And he's like, oh, you're welcome. And Natalie's like, I didn't hear him say thank you. And he's like, that's what he was saying, though. And then he walks over to his dad, and he's like, he does kind of like mention Monk, like, oh yeah, I caught this fish, Dad. And there was a bear and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, the dad comes around because the kid comes around. And I thought it was a really good win for Monk.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Since we were talking about the actor who played him, I'll go ahead and say this, like, I don't normally like child actors, but this group of kids was pretty good.
Yeah.
I liked them. Mm-hmm. They were very, like, I wouldn't say believable, because, I don't know, but I liked their characters. Like, there was the plant kid, the medicine kid, the main kid, and they were all, like, this band of brothers. It was
the
cute.
kid with the video game.
Yeah. None of them were, like, overly, like...
That was Noah.
I thought, yeah. None of them were all, like... I thought they were all going to be like, oh, why are we doing this? But they were all, like, pretty good sports about it.
Yeah.
They're just, like, we're
yeah.
hungry.
Oh, yeah, the one kid was the only kid that didn't want to go. His dad was making him.
Yeah.
But, yeah. No, that's true. Mm-hmm. I thought they were all really good as well. My last thing is when Randy thinks he's been recognized.
Yeah.
It's really funny, but it's also really sad. Because he wasn't recognized. Yeah. But he totally just thinks that these guys don't have his cell phone. Mm-hmm. Which it's not a plot hole, so I didn't write it down in plot holes. But I feel like whenever someone else's phone rings and it has the same ringtone as yours,
you're gonna go, whoa.
You think it's my, like, well, that's my phone ringing. And then you're like, oh no, it's their phone.
Even if it's like the default Apple noise. Like,
exactly.
Dun, dun,
yeah, or
dun,
an alarm
dun.
Or anything.
I'm like, whoa, it's mine.
You're like,
nope.
You hope it's not, right? So your gut reaction isn't to go, hey, that's my phone. Or your gut reaction would be like, hey, that's my phone, not, hey, that's my song.
Yeah.
Dude, this is going to rock your world. I'm Randy Disher. What? The ringtone, the guy singing your song, that's me. And they're like, okay, cool. Like, you'd be pretty impressed with that if you had found that somewhere.
Yeah.
Because that would be, like, super underground indie music. And you'd be like, oh, this guy's cool. You know, I like the song. Yeah, so, obviously, that was Randy's phone. So, yeah. But I did like it. And I hope to be recognized one day. That'd be cool.
Okay, my last like is... Oh, we're all done. Okay, what did you dislike?
Oh, wait, you're done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, okay. Well, that was anticlimactic. Okay. My last like is, what did you dislike about this episode? My first dislike is the crazy kid on the trip. I know I said that I liked the crazy kid on the trip, but also, like, just as the parent, don't pawn your crazy kid off on this poor guy.
Yeah. Poor Randy.
Yeah. It's
like, all right, that's it. You're not going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When he climbs on the van and you're still in the parking lot, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I thought he was going to behave. We're going to take him home.
We're going to spank him. God. No, you take him in front of all the other kids and you spank him right there. Yeah. You learned your lesson?
Noah, ow. Just kidding. But yeah, I know I said I liked it, but I did like the kid. I don't like the parents of the crazy kid. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It is a horrible idea to let Monk go, basically for reinstatement.
That's almost a plot hole, but yeah.
Like no one... I'm pretty sure the captain's like, that's not a good idea. Mm-hmm. Like, because Monk's like, I'm going to go schmooze him so I can get reinstated. And the captain's like, that's not a good idea. Like, then tell him that.
Yeah, and Natalie's like, I think you know what camping is or whatever. He's like, I do. And you're like, no, you don't. You're going to hate it. Like, yeah, it was not a good idea. Yeah. Like, that brings out all of Monk's eccentricities and phobias and everything. Mm-hmm. And, like, you're trying to impress someone so that they won't think that you're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's not a good idea. Mm-hmm. My next one is, I know I said I like the kid. The main kid was a punk.
Wow.
He was a punk.
Hypocrite.
At first, well, let's say I like different aspects of them, right? Obviously. But overall, the kid was a punk. He knocks down the sticks. That was like the first rude thing that he did.
Oh, yeah. That was messed up.
Monk had all the sticks stacked up, and the little kids are like, we're burning it, not living in it. And he's like, don't worry, you'll thank me later. And he's like, oh, Brian, do you want to try? And he's like, sure. And knocks it down just like that.
Yeah. Which, I mean, Monk deserved it, I guess. But, I don't know. Like, yeah, you're right. The kid was a punk.
Okay. No, actually, I put, although Monk is a kiss-up, and so that he kind of deserves the kid being a punk to him.
Yeah.
But then he also, like, Monk says something towards the end, and he's like, you're pathetic. And it was really mean.
Yeah.
And then whenever he runs away after he's like, hey, that's material evidence, like, we need it, like, we're in danger. And he's like, no, it's my fish. And he's like, we need the lure. Like, what? And the kid just, like, runs away and then gets them almost attacked and killed by a bear. So, yeah. I was like, yeah, this kid is a punk. Because I put Monk kind of, like, was asking for it, but the kid was, like, still a little too much.
Did we say anything about Randy saving the day?
No, we didn't.
Oh, good job, Randy. Anyways, my next is what was the point of one of the ladies, like, being like, oh, you know Nevin? One of the ladies on the panel being like, oh, you know Nevin? Like, make sure you say hi. Like, I guess it's to be like, oh, people know each other in this world. That's cool, but...
I think it probably is one of the... I feel like it's their way of saying, we're acknowledging that you're working on your issues, and we know you go to therapy, and that's okay. That's not a factor in whether you come back to work. Like, oh, you work with Dr. Bell? Okay, yeah, he's a great guy. I know him. I'll tell him I said hi. You know what I mean? Like, where you're like, because us as the audience is going, well, are they going to reinstate him? Like, he still goes to the therapist 3 times a week. He's still, quote unquote crazy. So, like, is he, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like that was their way of saying, like, oh, you know Nevin Bell? Oh, okay. That's cool. I know him too. Mm-hmm. Like, it's okay you go to therapy. That's not contingent upon your job. So, it's a good question, but that'd be my theory about it. Mm-hmm. And then, let's see, I put, again, this is kind of continuation of what I said a second ago, which is Monk is a kiss-up, and it's just not a good look. Like, it's really not, like I said, the kid was kind of justified in being a punk. Yeah. And Monk is just trying to play the game, and that's, like, what the whole episode is about. But I'm not sure that's really that fun to watch for a whole hour.
Yes. Thank you. My next dislike is... I feel like we've been setting up and building for a while, and I'm just bored, is what I said at the time. I feel like we've been setting up and building, and I'm bored.
And explain, what do you mean, like, further?
Like, it was just not fun to see.
Are you talking about this episode, or are you talking about previous episode? No,
this episode.
Oh, okay.
Like, this episode was boring. Like, I was just like, when is something gonna happen? Like, we can't just... Because it's just, like, taking Monk camping, and he doesn't even, like, he's not even, like, that crazy or anything, so you don't even get any funny scenes, really, and we're just building and building and building for Monk even to not be reinstated, which I remember thinking about it. I didn't write it down, but going, this episode wouldn't be as boring if Monk actually gets reinstated at the end. And boop, no, like, Monk can't win.
That's a great point. I mean, that's a really great point, because I feel like what they're trying to do is tie up loose ends, right?
Yeah.
Like, we know this. Like, we just saw Mr. Monk and Sharona. They did the same thing. But I feel like they missed the mark on this one in the sense of, like, they were trying to give Monk one last, like... Well, I mean, we don't know the rest of the episodes, what those are. But one last, like, really generic... type of episode, like Mr. Monk goes to the farm, Mr. Monk goes camping, Mr. Monk goes
in a situation,
right?
Yeah.
So they were trying to do that one, even Mr. Monk and the dog.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good, like, situation, Mr. Monk, and see what happens when he has a dog. Well, it was like they tried to do that again, but they also were trying to tie the storyline into it.
Yeah.
So they missed the mark on the Mr. Monk Goes Camping part. And it turned into, let's kind of simmer that down, the funniness tones of that. Which, I will say, it makes sense with the fact that we're saying, what a terrible idea, because that's when he's going to be super crazy. And we didn't really get to see that.
Yeah.
Because if he had been that crazy, he couldn't have been that crazy in front of the kid.
Yeah.
Like, what did he actually do that was crazy in front of the kid?
Exactly.
Like, he slept standing up. He screamed that a bear was coming. Like, that was scary. That wasn't crazy, you know? Like, we didn't get to see it, like, spraying the bug spray. Like, that was what we got to see. So, I think they just kind of missed the mark on that. I put that the episode was really slow, and it just didn't have a lot of content. Like, it was very, like, just watching them camp. But not even, because we didn't even get to see them camp that much. That's what's so weird. Yeah. That's what's so weird. They had to have been in the woods for most of the episode.
It felt so long, and then you're like, what's... But nothing's really happened.
And then it ended.
And then it ended.
Like, I felt like I saw nothing, but was watching it for a really long time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What is the point of having Winona? Do you remember Winona?
Yes,
I do. The random girlfriend that
I do.
I guess it was to put Stoddy in the episode or something, but the random girlfriend in the middle of it, because she like warns her boyfriend to go to Spider Lake.
Her boyfriends.
Her multiple boyfriends that they should go hide evidence or some crap in Spider Lake. So like, why?
Okay, I was writing the summation and I figured that out because I thought the same thing. And it wasn't something like very important and concrete, but it was more of just like, because Stoudemire basically, he lied and said that he had the fingerprints on the coins, I think. Because he was like, that's impossible. We had gloves on. They did not get our fingerprints from the coins inside the machine.
Yeah.
And then, but somehow, I don't remember how, but somehow Stoudemire pegged them as the people.
Yeah, I think he's been on them for a while, is what it said.
Okay.
Like they were in a previous thing with Stoddy or something.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, then I don't know why. Because what my explanation was, and now it makes no sense, is that because they were so on his radar that, like, he couldn't have, like, interrogated them. Mm-hmm. Like, he had to, like, get them a message so that they, like... But if he didn't actually have any evidence to, like, arrest them, then he could have just, like, had them in his holding cell or you know what I mean? Like, an interrogation room.
Yeah. And
been like, I'm on to you. And then they'd be, like, leaving and be like, dude, we gotta go to Spider Lake. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. That's a good point. Okay.
Okay, my next one is... Okay, so it's pretty long. As much as I like Monk... He definitely does not deserve a gun and a badge.
Ooh.
He's still putting people behind bars without having a gun. Like, he can't have a gun. You can't give that man a gun. Like, after they're like, oh, you can't be on the force. Like, we're sorry. And he's like, thank you so much. Like, woohoo! Like, oh, yeah, we'll talk about it over, like, dinner or whatever. Like, I'm so happy. Yeah, no, he's kind of still psychotic. As much as he solves so many cases, he's still...
And then his like, denial of it and him, like, bouncing off the walls showed that he wasn't... Like, that was, again, more than social norms. He was, like, having, like, a blackout moment or something, which was also not a good look.
He doesn't deserve a gun and a badge. What can I say? Because you can't give someone a badge and not give them a gun. So it's like, he doesn't deserve either, really.
All right. Well, we'll see how that pans out.
I know.
My last one is no real Natalie or Stoudemire action.
Yeah.
We mentioned like you said, Winona, Stoudemire gets a scene. Natalie leaves the sticky notes. But other than that, nothing... but, I mean, I will say, like I said, really nice Randy action.
Yeah.
But I feel like we need our fix of everybody at this point.
Yeah.
And maybe that's still coming. Because, again, I'm not 100% sure what episodes. I just feel like we're so close to the end that the episodes are going to be more of wrapping up more loose ends. And if they're very centric on any one thing, I feel like the group action is going to get neglected, and I don't want that to happen, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like in these types of episodes, quote unquote, like the dog, where we saw them all together helping the puppies be born and stuff like that. Like, I like that.
Yes.
I want that. I didn't get that in this one. I hope it's still, like I said, still coming. But that's my last dislike, so.
Though you're right, because we were talking about that last episode, and we were talking about how cool it would be if they were Randy and Monk, and like we see them with unlikely pairings, Randy and Monk, and Natalie and Stottlemyre. And they could have so done that. Like,
they could have done
Natalie
a Stottlemyre.
and Stottlemyre.
Yeah.
That would have been killer. I mean, as fun as it was, Monk and Randy, and they get their whole heart-to-heart.
Like, I feel like if we rewatched it, we could jot down which parts we'd take out, and then add a Stottlemyre and Natalie storyline in there.
Exactly.
But, yeah. Did you still have more, right?
I do. I think I have 2 more.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Noah coming in hot today with the dislikes.
Wait a minute. Oh, okay. Monk can't win.
Easy. Okay, yeah.
But my last one is the kid that just straight up grabbed Randy's gun.
Oh, that was the crazy kid, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I was like, what the?
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's true.
Like,
he totally did.
Oh my god. Does Randy sleep with his gun next to him? Or, like, he's gonna have to.
Yeah, like on his body the whole time.
Yes.
Which, I mean, he probably should be.
That kid was, like,
on his body the whole time if he's, like, sleeping around a bunch of kids.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Or under his pillow or something. Oh. What was your, just like before that, you kind of blew by that.
Monk can't win?
Oh, yeah. Because that's why I put that in the like section, that I liked how Monk got through to the kid. And he got through to the kid by being himself.
Yeah.
And whereas, like, he didn't schmooze the other 2 people because they were on his side at first. So it just makes you kind of think, like, if he had been able to schmooze them or something, that they also would have come around. Yeah. And so that's why I didn't put it as a dislike that he didn't get his badge back, because it was like, to me, they skipped by it so much. Yeah. Like, oh, I got my badge back, and he's delusional. Like, that's a cliffhanger or something, or they're just going to come back and they're not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Which is what they tend to do. But I don't know. So that's why I didn't jot it down, just because I was like, but he actually did get a win, because he convinced the one person he was trying to convince. He lost the 2 other ones that just come out of left field and go, oh, actually we've reconsidered, and no.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
It was just
whatever. Okay, you ready to move on?
He's the guy. Okay, I have someone.
You do? Okay.
Do you have someone?
I have 3 someones.
Oh.
And a bonus someone. But you get to be a part of the bonus someone.
You can go right ahead.
Okay. I have Wade Williams and Maurice Compeat. And
Compeat.
Weird name. Which Wade Williams plays the Captain Willis, and Maurice plays one of the criminals. Just randomly, they were both on 24. So I thought I'd jot it down. Okay. Of
course.
And then I have Uriah Shelton.
Okay.
Who played Nicky Phillips. Did you have him?
No.
Okay, he was on an episode of Sweet Life, Last Man Standing. And the interesting things to me were that he played Joshua Matthews in Girl Meets World. So, Joshua Matthews he was in the original Boy Meets World, but he's not, like, he was like a little kid. Because there's Eric Matthews and Corey Matthews, which are brothers. And then later, the mom has a baby who's Joshua Matthews. And then in the reiteration of Girl Meets World, they show him. He's on like 8 episodes. And so, yeah, I looked it up. So I looked it up afterwards. No, sorry. Sometimes when I'm watching it with you, you stop the x-ray in the middle.
Yeah.
And so I figured that out while we were watching it. Uh-huh. And then so I was like focused on his face, like if I recognized him. I mean, I recognized the person he is now. I was like, oh yeah, I recognize that guy. But as a child, I did not recognize him. He's the plant one, I think is what you called him. He's the plant kid.
Oh,
who's like really knowledgeable. Mm-hmm. that's him. And he does not look like he looks like today. So I'm not too mad that I didn't recognize him. And then the last thing he is in is 2 episodes of Little Monk, the web series.
What?
Interesting, right? I thought that was weird.
Okay, I'll go on the next one.
Okay.
It's one of the little kids, except he looks pretty much exactly like he does, like as an adult. It's really weird.
Okay.
Alex Wolf. Mm-hmm. He is the main little kid.
Okay, yeah.
And he is in both of the Jumanji movies. And that's what I recognized him in.
Oh, I did notice that credit, but I haven't seen those.
They're not that good.
Oh, they're not? Have you watched the original Jumanji?
Yeah.
Do you like that one?
Not really. I think it's an interesting idea. And I think they should have just remade it, but like... I feel like the new ones, they also did like Jumanji, but it's like a video game, which is kind of cool. But I feel like if they redid the regular Jumanji just with better like special effects and better acting, then I would have liked it more. Probably a different script. But I think...
Different script, different actors.
Shut up. I think that the like overall plot of it and like board game that comes to life, it's very like 80s or like 70s.
And 90s, but okay. Go ahead.
Shut up.
You're talking about my childhood here. Let's get it right. It was 90s.
It's very 90s.
Not the 70s or the 80s.
It's very 90s and it's cool. But the new ones are alright.
I just never watched them just because I don't really like movies, to be honest.
Yeah, I know.
But I loved the original Jumanji. That's like totally my jam. Robin Williams, Bonnie Hunt.
Oh yeah, Robin Williams is in that.
Yeah. And then the kids, Kirsten Dunst and the little boy. That was pretty, it's pretty star heavy. And I love that movie. I actually watched that with my nephew not too long ago. A few months ago. He loved it. I guess it was probably a year ago now. And I rewatched it and I was like, dang. I remember why I like this movie. It's really good. So we also played the Jumanji board game. You played that with us, right?
Yes.
Where you like, oh, for those who seek to find a way to leave the world behind or whatever. And
yeah.
it's like,
and every time
Jumanji.
every time you play it, you're like, come on, please come true. Yeah.
And then you whisper the words and stuff and like all creepy like. It's really cool. Okay, I have Christina Vidal, who played Random Winona, right? Yes. I added the random part. But Random Winona. She was in an episode of House, In Plain Sight, Code Black, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and then she was in the show. I don't remember if I mentioned it on this podcast before. It was a very, very short span of time that I feel like this show was on, but Grand Hotel?
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, that show's got canceled, I'm sure, right?
Yeah,
because I haven't heard of it.
I've heard of it.
But I remember whenever 2 years ago. Oh, yeah, so then no, we wouldn't have been doing the podcast then. No, so I didn't mention it on here. So it was like 2 years ago. And it was like about a hotel in Miami or something. I remember our dad was watching it. Mm-hmm. And he had it saved on the DVR. And one day when I was over there, I just watched like a few episodes he had on the DVR. And then I think the show got canceled. But I was like, wow, out of all of the shows, randomly she's on Grand Hotel, like, that barely made any episodes of the show. So, which I could be wrong about that. It could totally still be on. And I haven't watched it since, but, since I stopped watching it, for me, it ended. Yeah. So, and then what I actually knew her from, though, like recognized her from, is Freaky Friday. She is one. Have you seen that movie with Lindsay Lohan?
Lindsay Lohan. Okay. Wow. You can't say Freaky Friday and expect me to not think of the original.
Oh, wait. There's an original one like from the 70s, right? Or 80s?
Yeah, just go ahead. Sorry.
Wait, no.
I was just making a joke.
Oh. But there isn't there? Or do you know?
Yeah, no, there is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Lindsay Lohan's the remake.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the Lindsay Lohan version, and she's the girl. She's like her best friend or something. She's in the band. Mm-hmm. She plays like the bass or something. I love that movie too. That's so good. With Jamie Lee Curtis, and they switch bodies.
Jamie Lee
Curtis. She's like, oh, I'm like the Crypt Keeper. Because she's old.
Old, yeah.
It's funny. But yeah, and then I have... Did you just have one person for He's the Guy?
I did.
Okay. We hadn't mentioned this, which was... Okay, so I started watching Community. last night, actually. This is like breaking news.
Brown Jamie Lee Curtis.
We're like, for those wondering, we're like halfway-ish through season 2 of One Tree Hill. And we're on the first 2 episodes of Community.
Which is like 1/50th, I'd say, of what we've watched on One Tree Hill. Like, 2 episodes of Community is 1 episode of One Tree Hill.
Yeah. So anyway, so we've watched a smidgen of Community, but one day, like this wasn't yesterday, but like maybe 2 weeks ago, Noah was watching Community, and I saw the guy who I guess, now I'm trying to think of who he is. Is he the dean?
Yes.
And I saw him like on the screen, and I was like, oh, that's JP Mannix. And Noah was like, who? And I was like, JP Mannix, you know, he's on Monk. The guy, He's the guy. And because I remember his name was Jacob Posner in Mr. Monk is Up All Night. He's the coin shop owner. Mm-hmm. And so I remembered his name because his initials were JP in real life and on the show, on Monk, right? And so I was like, that's him. And Noah was like, no way.
That's a Jim Rash. I was like, that's Jim Rash.
Yeah, and you were like, that's Jim Rash. And I'm like, oh, well, he looks like JP Mannix with glasses on. Because I don't think JP Mannix wears glasses. So I was like, well, it really looks like him with glasses on. So I thought it was him because he's wearing glasses. He looks so similar. And then we looked it up, and what we found, like, right off the bat was a picture of JP Mannix and
Jim Rash
together
on Community.
And they were both wearing glasses, and they both, like, they had their arms around each other. Mm-hmm. And I guess it was like a promo pic, or, you know, not a promo pic, but like a behind-the-scenes picture.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it was
a
screenshot.
Oh, it was?
I think so.
Oh.
Because...
Well, I haven't seen it.
I want to explain. Because one of the crazy people on the show, like, has a hostile takeover of the school. And so he, like, just gets rid of the dean and, like, puts a fake dean there. And that's JP whoever. And it's just him with glasses. Because he sees him at a party. And he's like, you look a lot like my friend if you put on glasses. And so, yeah, he just, like, takes over the school with a fake dean. And they, like, kidnaps the real dean. And there's, like, a whole 2-part episode about how they have to, like, get the real dean back.
Right. So the fact that I was still proud of myself because I was like, see? They thought he looked like him because they made him his doppelganger. Because that's what it said. It was a Google search image, and it said Jim Rash and JP Mannix are doppelgangers or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, it said their actors' real names. Mm-hmm. But they had their arms around each other. That's the picture I remember seeing. Because I was like, yeah, they're the same guy.
Yeah.
Apparently, I was not alone in thinking that. So I thought I'd mention it because I was like, I started watching Community, and I was like, oh yeah, when I saw him on the screen last night, I picked up my paper and jotted it down. Because I was like, I had to mention that. So, JP Mannix and Jim Rash. Yay. All right, let's move on.
Junk time! Welcome back to my favorite time of the show and yours, where we eat junk and Kandyce asks me questions.
Okay, so the first thing is actually kind of random.
We only have 4 junk times left. 5 junk times left.
Oh, that's true. Actually, I want to try my chips.
Okay, I do not because I will throw up.
Why will you throw up? I don't understand.
I ate too much yesterday. Too many salt and vinegar chips.
Oh, you ate too many salt and vinegar chips.
Yeah.
I thought you meant you ate too much, like, dinner.
Like, I will literally, like, vomit all over.
Okay, so the first... my chips were fine. Okay, so the first thing I had was super random. But that was... I jotted down a couple of Noah's predictions. Oh. So the first thing you said... They're very small. It wasn't like, he killed so-and-so. You said... Oh, well, it's going to come up that Randy's allergic to peanuts. Like, someone's going to try to give him some type of peanut, something. And I was like...
Didn't.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think that happens.
Do that. Yeah.
Why did they say... So, why did they say... I jotted that down because I was like, I don't think that happens. But why did they say that?
Because the guy, like, crushed his peanuts in a weird way.
He twisted
his peanuts. And Randy was like, I can't have peanuts for some reason. And so, yeah, it was just weird. I was like, well, that's going to come up later.
And it did not. And and then the other one, there's just another little funny thing. And it was, so Randy gets out his flip phone, old tech catch, his flip phone, his razor. I know, they keep mentioning singular on One Tree Hill. Randy pulls out his razor phone, and he goes to take a picture of, I guess, the kid, Josiah, whatever his name is. What's his name?
Josiah?
No, Uriah Shelton. Isn't that the kid he does something cool? Does he make a lure or something? Is it he the kid that makes the lure?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so he goes to take a picture of that kid, and when he's going to take a picture, the two criminals are like in the background, like stalking them, like, oh, we gotta get these guys out of here, whatever. And Noah's like, oh my gosh, really? They're in the back of the picture. They're gonna see the killers in the picture on the phone in the background. And I was like, I don't think so. So I jotted it down. I was like, just observations by Noah.
I mean, they should have. I don't know. It seemed weird to put in there, like, ooh, we're sneaking around, and their head is, like, completely out of the bush.
Yeah.
So they're taking a picture right there. Like, maybe they were gonna add it or something, and halfway through they were like, let's just scrap that.
Noah in the minds of the writers. Okay, and then my other things, I really don't. They're not great questions. Don't make fun of me, or you're doing the questions next time.
Have you ever been camping?
Have you ever been camping?
Yes, I've been camping beforehand.
Tell us about it. Tell us all about it.
Okay, I did
Noah.
when I was a kid, a long, long time ago, and it was fun. But recently, I went camping at Tahoe's Ski Valley.
Oh, you did go camping then, didn't you?
Yes. And
I was thinking because y'all stayed in a resort or something. Y'all stayed in like...
We stayed in a hotel.
But
before that, we had to get an emergency hotel because we were like cooking like hot dogs because we had been camping there like 2 days prior. We've just been staying there for like... No. We didn't even get to camp. We slept in the car one night because we got there really late. And then next morning we're like, oh yay, let's set up the tent. And we like busted out the hot dogs. We were eating them. We're like, this is nasty. It tastes like smoke. And then some guy who was driving by and he was like, hey guys, you know there's a storm tonight, right? Like a crazy storm.
Like a snowstorm or like a rainstorm?
Snowstorm.
Oh, okay.
And we were like in the mountains and you could see snow at the top of the trees. And it was freezing cold outside. But anyways, you could like... He just told us that, and we're like, well, great, because we couldn't get service up in the mountains, and so we had no freaking idea. We would have literally died if it weren't for that man anyways. But we were...
Wow.
Our mom, like, booked us a hotel in time, and so we just went down to the actual, like, place Taos, which is, like, 30 minutes away from where we were, because we were going to, like, camp for, like, 2 days and then go to Taos.
What state is this in?
This is in New Mexico.
Oh, okay. All right.
Breaking Bad. And we were in... We just... It was kind of lame.
Oh, it was?
We made fajitas, and then we were like, oh my god, this is going to be so good. Because we hadn't eaten in, like, the past day or so. We're like, this is going to be so good. And then we forgot to get seasoning. And it was like a 10-minute car ride, maybe 15-minute car ride back down the mountain. And it was like a terrifying drive. Because, you know.
Oh, yeah. You're on a mountain.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, nobody else on the mountain.
It's beautiful. It is. But, like, it's horrifying.
Yeah.
And, yeah, we were like, ate fajitas. And we're like, well, this doesn't have seasoning. And it's gross. And I was the only one who ate it. And then we got hot dogs. And we forgot buns. And It was a disaster.
So y'all were very prepared for this trip.
And we made a tent, and the guy came, and he was like, there's no storm, and then we just put the tent back up. And then me and Nico spent, like, I don't know, me and my brother, we spent, like, an hour putting it together. Like, I was like, you guys gotta go, like. And there was no Camp Ranger. I forgot why I needed the Camp Ranger for something. Oh, I was gonna ask him if he had batteries. Because I had bought this remote control car knowing that I was going to be extremely, extremely, extremely bored the entire time. And I forgot batteries.
Golly.
No.
3 men in the woods.
I know.
Y'all were just missing one lady to remember seasoning, buns, batteries, like all the things that...
Exactly.
Wow.
And then we went on one hike, and like there was like this gate and it was like you're not allowed to do it from this day to this day. You're not allowed to hike from this day to this day. And we were like, it's fine. and the first thing we see is a bear print in the snow, like right there. We're like, if we see another one, we'll go back. And so we're just
right next to it, another bear print.
Yeah. Well, I was vlogging the entire thing, and we went for like an hour or 2 hours hiking this one really long trail down. And we were like, when are we going to get to the top of a mountain? And we were like, let's just go back. And we get back. Well, we're on our way back. And, like, there's another path. Like, because you can see the entrance. And then there's, to the right of it, like, an actual path up.
Uh-huh.
And we were like, great. And so we, like, it took us, like, 30 seconds to walk up this path. And we're, like, at the top of a mountain. We're like, holy crap. And you can see, like, our campsite, like, over there. Like we
down.
were right here the entire freaking time.
Oh.
But yeah, it was really fun because there was like, when we were hiking, there was just like super high snow, like this feet. And so you would like walk and then you just make...
Like how many, like 2 feet? 3?
Yeah, 3 feet.
Okay, wow.
And so we'd be like sludging across and it was crazy. It was so much fun.
Wow.
But yeah, it got canceled pretty much by that snowstorm. But I mean, skiing was fun.
Yeah.
Skiing was fun and...
Modern day amenities were fun. Yeah.
I got to charge my phone.
That one day of camping was awesome.
I mean, yeah, but I really wanted to do a pottery class because no one goes out of New Mexico without taking a pottery class.
Okay.
It's a quota community, and I was like, I have to do it. And we couldn't find any, and my heart was broken. You know, I made it like an adamant thing to go do a pottery class.
Aw, I've never done that before.
Yeah, it sounds like fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was like one that was like open on the website, and we're like, yeah. And we get there, and it was like closed for like FBI reasons or something. Like they were like I forget what they were doing, but there was like a weird like task force there in that building. We're like, what? Like everything had gone wrong.
Y'all got any clay in there?
And then Nico, I was being really, really, really annoying about the whole pottery situation.
That sounds like
so.
accurate.
Shut up. So I finally found a battery for my RC car. And I was driving it around, and Nico was also really annoyed about my RC car, and he picked it up and threw it on the ground and broke off a wheel. But it still worked, so I kept annoying.
It just went in circles.
Yeah, it did. I know. I was like, you can't kill it. It was stronger than ever. It was crazy. It was such a good car.
I, like, you know me, I have a 30 before 30 list that's like, it's been kind of like stricken down by COVID because it's like so many of the things were like travel here, travel there. No. But one of the things was to go glamping because I would not go camping, but I would go glamping. And so I think it was, how many years ago was that now? Like three or four. Yeah, 3 or 4 years ago, and we went to the...
This does not feel like 4 years ago.
It might have been 3, I don't know.
I think it was 3, at the most.
It feels like 4 to me. It feels like a long time ago to me.
It feels like 2 years ago to me.
But, anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't care. 3 or 4. Adult. No, but we went to the teepees in, like, I don't know, somewhere in Texas.
San Fuego.
I actually don't remember. Seguin, Texas? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Seguin. And that was a lot of fun, which, I mean, obviously it wasn't camping. We did not sleep outside. We didn't sleep in the car either, but we slept in teepees. The teepee was really cool though, because it was like me and Toby and you and your brother and then our sisters. Mm-hmm. And so there was 3 queen size beds inside the teepee and a TV. And like a sink, a little mini fridge, and a kitchenette area, and then we had our own like fire pit right outside of our place. It was kind of like a cabin, but it was cool because it was a giant teepee.
Yeah, it was like a novelty TP.
Yeah.
Like, it was just a big old cone.
Yeah. It was, but like, when
like
you were in it,
AC.
you could see you could look up, and it was a point.
Yeah.
Like, you were inside of a teepee, and it was really cool. And we cooked, like, Toby made us, like, eggs.
It was very
and
good.
Bacon, like, on the open fire, like, in a cast iron skillet. But then they also had, like, a community, like, center, like, a rec room. Yeah. We played, like, pool and Jenga and foosball.
Ping pong?
And shuffleboard, like, the thing where you
Yes,
throw.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, we did that. And then, like, 2 days we, like, just canoed.
Oh my
like,
god, that was so much fun.
That's not so much fun.
I would literally do anything to do that again.
Well, yeah, that was it. I mean, I did have one more, but I don't really have an answer queued for it.
I actually liked that junk time question. Good job.
Oh, really? Okay.
Good job. It was basic, but it was good.
My other one was, do you have any ghost stories? But I don't.
There once was an ugly podcaster.
Okay, see, then
and
it's
her
what I
awesome
didn't
brother.
An ugly podcast. Oh my gosh, that's so mean.
They had this podcast and everyone was like really cool to listen to it, and you would just like automatically like get babes if you listen to it. Unless you're a girl, then you get dudes. Anyways, but like there's this curse if you didn't listen to them where you'd be out of the know. Mm-hmm. And like no one would hang out with you. Mm-hmm. So if you're listening,
I think that's based on a true story.
It's based on a true story. Yeah. It actually happened to me last summer.
That's scary.
It's a curse. The only way to undo it is if you subscribe right now and send this podcast to 2 of your friends. Like one of those scams.
Those chain letter things.
Yes. Send it to 2 of your friends to not be cursed.
Okay, the only thing I'm actually impressed by that. I like that. The only thing that I could think of was, so I live by a really famous haunted hotel.
Oh, yeah.
And so the hotel is, like, supposedly haunted. They're actually redoing it. It's going to be amazing. But they were, like, the story is that it's haunted by more than one person. But one of the stories is, like, the inventor, he didn't invent it. The founder of the hotel, he, like, had a mistress and he kept her up in the, like, top floor or whatever, like in his quarters. Ooh. And then she, like, got depressed because he wouldn't, like, let her leave the quarters or whatever.
What the?
That she, like, jumped out the window and, like, landed on some, like, the other floors or something. I don't know.
The Baker Hotel.
So, yeah. So, and then it was funny because what actually made me think of it was whenever Monk is like, don't tell them that story, like you're scaring the kids or whatever. Mm-hmm. I remember I wasn't really like reading the room, like I forgot that I had like little kids, and I told that story about the lady like jumping out the window. Mm-hmm. And then the little kid was like, is that a real story? And I was like, oh, no, that's just make-believe. It's just what people say. It's totally make-believe, yeah. It's just crazy people say that. They don't know what they're talking about. I was, like, totally backtracking. I was, like, foot in mouth so bad.
That is so
Because I was telling, like, older people the story, and the kids were standing right there, and I was like, oh, no, it's not true. It's not true. And I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, that's why it popped into my head, actually.
That's so sweet that you actually said that, though.
I was so like, oh crap, these kids are going to have nightmares. It was so bad. But yeah, so that's my ghost story. It's
a famous place.
It is a famous place.
And it's been on TV shows.
And ghost hunters and
podcasts. I bet there's a podcast that's like ghosts.
Oh yeah, probably, yeah, for sure.
The Baker Hotel.
Yeah, they've been on all kinds of Discovery, but we see cameras out there all the time. Yeah, just people filming stuff and going in there to do ghost hunts. Well, I mean, they're renovating it now, so probably not. But yeah, it's the Baker Hotel. Ooh. Look it up. You'll thank me later. Okay, we're gonna end off chunk time with a viewer's voice, and so here's what happened, guys. Here's what happened. If I'm being totally honest, so I got a package from Favi Hernandez, who was on our podcast, Happy Birthday, Mr. Monk, our special listener episode, right?
What? I remember
But here's the thing. You're going to be disappointed, though, because I messaged Favi to ask her if she wanted to be our viewer's voice for this week because we're going to open her package. Well, she luckily responded very quickly and said, the package has a spoiler in it. So don't open it with Noah.
No.
Yeah, so
No.
we can't open it today like we wanted to.
No, you can open it, Kandyce. I'll go out of the room. If you want to.
No, it's fine.
Do you know what it's pertaining to? Like, we could just save it for another day?
Yeah. I mean, we would basically, yeah.
It's like Monk's gun.
Basically we'd have to open it, like, at the end.
Aw.
Yeah.
We should put it up on our wall to remind us that we're...
How are we going to put it up on the wall? It's just a package.
Is it heavy? Let me What does this sound like to you guys? Put your answers in our Instagram because
put your answers in the box below.
I am not creative. I am not creative enough to figure that out. I feel like she put a lot of packaging around it, so like...
Yeah, we're not going to know what it is.
Yeah.
But, so I will end off with her viewer's voice.
Okay.
All right, so Fabi says, "This is such a cute episode. I really like the change of scenery and the fact that Monk and Randy get to hang out. Monk is usually getting into trouble with Natalie, but it was nice to see him bond with Disher. I also like that the episode doesn't focus too much on the crime. It puts a spotlight on Randy's advice to Monk. Happiness is a choice. Jason Gray Stanford quotes this all the time on his podcast. My favorite part is when Monk ruins Randy's scary campfire story and when Monk screams like a girl when he sees the bear. Best quote comes from Natalie when she's helping Monk get ready to go. Here are your wipes, backup extra wipes, extra backup wipes. Laughing face, laughing face, laughing face."
Oh, that was a good one. That was good.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought so. Thank you, Fabi, for sending us the package that we won't open until the end.
Yeah. I feel bad, but
so... But it's okay. We'll open it eventually. We're very close to the end. It's not...
There are 3 stamps on here.
Okay, let's move on to... Nope, try again.
Plot holes! Finally. Took like 7 takes.
Okay. Do you have any plot holes?
I do have 2.
2? Okay. Let me do a callback. Okay. I'm almost certain we have heard them mention Spider Lake before.
Okay.
I want to say this could be wrong. I didn't look it up, but I feel like I remember Sean Astin saying it in Mr. Monk is at Your Service whenever he's the bad guy and he calls and he's like pretending to be his dad and he's like, "I'm up at Spider Lake down on Sweeney Road." For some reason, I feel like he said Spider Lake.
Very, very like
specific.
How do you remember that?
I don't know, and that's what I'm saying. I might be mixing it up because
What season is that? 7?
I typed in it's like season 5.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. I typed in Spider Lake on the Monk wiki, and it brought up Mr. Monk and the Daredevil. So there is a recall. I just might be mistaken that it's on this, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't there. It just meant the person probably didn't type the word Spider Lake. Mm-hmm. So I could be right, but it is a recall from some location, at least in the Daredevil episode.
Okay.
And then, of course, we have a callback to the Randy Disher Project song, "I Don't Need a Badge," the ringtone, right? So we had that. And that's actually the only callbacks that I had. I only had 2. So the rest are plot holes.
Okay.
So go ahead.
You can go ahead.
Okay. So the first one, Toby said this, so I'll give him some credit, but I did actually write it down before he said it. And that's all they had on the agenda that day was Monk's hearing at 1 p.m. Like, tax dollars at work. Am I right? Like,
yeah.
What are they doing all day? They only have... I mean, I guess I don't know exactly what that room was for, but just I feel
Adrian Monk. That's it. Every year when he comes by.
to get reinstated. Yeah. I just thought that was a little random. But Toby said it too. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, I wrote it down. Mm-hmm. I feel good about that plot hole then. Okay.
How did the bad guys know that the bullet was in the fish?
I explained that. Because that's what I was saying. The plant kid is what you call them.
Yeah.
He made the lure and the guys were standing behind him while they were taking the picture.
That was the lure that he made.
Mm-hmm. that was the bullet he used. So they knew.
No.
They knew not only is there more shotgun shells, because that's what they went to go pick up was their shotgun shells, and they had set up camp where their shells were. So they needed them to leave, but also knew that the kid had made a lure out of one of their shells, so he needed it back. So instead of just that being just enough for them to get them out of there because of the bear, pick up all their shells, they had to find them again and get that lure back.
Yeah.
And that was the problem, was that the kid had caught the fish and it was in the mouth. And they're like, oh yeah. Because remember the guy makes a comment. He's like, oh, you had to cut your line, huh? And he's like, yeah, it's stuck in the fish.
Dang.
Yeah. So you saw that part. You obviously were paying attention, but you just picked up on the wrong detail because you said that they were in the background of the picture, but it was supposed to be you seeing him. It was supposed to be
I get what you're saying.
Them watching him with the lure. So
okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. This one is not foolproof whatsoever. Did you find the Mr. Monk is at your service?
I can't find
it's going to be at the very end. It's the summation. When Monk's like, here's what happened, and then it's going to be a little bit further than that, I think, because he takes his stepmom. Oh, man, I love this episode. He takes his dad and his stepmom after they're already dead. You can keep going.
Oh, sorry.
She's dead.
Where are you?
On Sweeney Road. Right near Spider Lake.
Yes!
I'm feeling her pulse.
Oh
She's
my
definitely
god. Good job,
Yes.
Candyce. Good job.
That's one of my favorite things, when he mimics his dad's voice.
Sweeney Road.
Near Spider Lake.
Spider Lake, yeah.
I knew it. I'd heard that before. Okay, I'm a genius. Okay. Not to toot my own horn or anything.
No, that's...
But,
God, good job. That's crazy.
okay, so Randy, this is my one that's not a plot hole. Maybe you could help me out on it. Probably not, because my brain just is weird. But I put the Randy's allergic to peanuts thing. If I'm not mistaken, there's a... Oh, okay. It's coming back to me already. It's coming back to me already. Stottlemyre in the episode Mr. Monk Goes Home Again with Ambrose, and they have the candy.
Oh my god.
Stottlemyre says the line, "Come on, Lieutenant, I'll buy you a Snickers bar." Which, does the captain think about Randy's peanut allergy in that moment? Maybe not. But I was also wondering if the candy bar that he had tried to take had peanuts in it.
Yeah.
But I don't think we would have known that. Like, because they were like fake candy bars.
Yeah.
So, but I'm thinking that's probably a no-go. Like, I don't think that's probably debunkable.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Unless, like, fortune cookies are, like, fried in peanut oil, because we've seen him eat a fortune cookie. But, yeah. Anyway.
Fortune.
Yeah, if he's eating Chick-fil-A,
cookies.
that's a plot hole.
Wait.
Just kidding.
So, Randy eats a fortune cookie, and the thing that's inside of it is, like, you're gonna die, or something like that. Or like,
are you predicting what this episode is?
Yes.
Oh.
You're gonna... Wait, is it a past one?
Yeah, in the past.
Which one is it?
Well, I don't want to tell you, because then you're going to be like, oh, it's that one.
Which one is it?
It's literally one of the 3 episodes you haven't seen.
Which one is it, though?
Just forget it. We'll watch
Just
it
tell
later.
me.
Why? Okay, and then to move it along, just personally, I twist open my peanuts.
Ew.
So
what is wrong with you?
I don't really even understand a lot how people open it the right way. It's the easiest to twist them. I felt like that was a really weak thing to be like, he twists his peanuts. And I'm like, oh, I do that. Because I don't know how to open them the other way. I twist them off. I stick the whole shell in my mouth because I like the salt of the peanut. And then I crack it open with my tooth and eat the peanut out of it.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? Like,
and then spit the shell out.
Why do you do that? Anyways, fortune cookies are cooked in peanut oil.
They are? All of them?
Like, not all of them. It said there's basic, like, generic, like, ways, but most manufacturers also use, like, baking soda and peanut oil and...
Oh my gosh, I'm a genius again! Yes! Plot hole. Yeah. Randy eats fortune cookies.
I know. Good
What's
job,
up?
Okay. I would like to go next.
Okay.
Monk brings up a great point when he's talking about the person who shot his own partner. It is so easy to get reinstated. Like, once you're a cop, like, they'll basically never let you go.
Honestly, that's like a lot of jobs, too.
Exactly. It's hard not to be, like, let back on.
It's like hard to get fired.
Yeah.
And then I feel like it's pretty, like, especially when they're like, oh, we're kind of short-staffed. Oh, sure, give them another try. Like, they're pretty adamant. Like, and that's the thing, too, is I was kind of speaking about it earlier, because we don't know exactly what he did to get discharged. Like, we know he had a psychological break, you know, like a breakdown or whatever. Yeah. But what did he actually do? Like, what is their actual problem with him?
Shot someone or something? Like,
but
other than, like, dang, my wife died, I'm sad now. They're like, hey, take away his badge. Like, that's not a thing.
Exactly.
And it's like, well, there's no freaking way that they took away his badge and, like, wouldn't let him get reinstated.
We just don't know in general what happened. Like, what specific thing or things that he did.
Yeah.
In order for them to be like, 9 years later, be like, still not sure about you being reinstated.
Exactly.
Now, honestly, if they lived with him in, like, every single day life, they might think that. Right? Like, if it was Stottlemyre or Randy or Natalie being like, yeah, I'm with him all the time, and he really is just super neurotic, and he wouldn't be able to do this. But, like, his resume at this point
is like,
shows that he can be a cop.
Yeah. Like, okay, he solved probably more than half of our department's cases or like something crazy.
And even then at an astonishing rate.
Yeah. Like,
so
how are you? Like, the lady was like, I was working on the case for 9 freaking months and you solved it in like 1 day. Mm-hmm. Okay, give me my badge.
Yeah.
Like, you just told me I'm better than you at your job. Like,
and you have it.
Yes,
and I don't.
Exactly. I don't think Monk should have his badge, but definitely he would have it.
Well, my next plot hole is that both of the other people changed their minds.
Yeah, that was just dumb.
Yeah.
I was like, really? What in the plot convenience?
Yeah.
Like,
he's like, oh, thank you so much. And they're like, actually, on second thought, I changed my mind. And not just one of them changed their mind.
Yeah.
2 of them changed their minds.
Exactly. The guy's like, this guy saved my son's life. And they're like, meh. I reviewed your file in which you've never let a person go free. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. The next one is, so Monk just leaves in delusion. And they just it's not really a plot hole. It's just, like, what? That's how you end the episode?
Yeah.
Like, that's like the end of a scene. Like, not the end of an episode.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was just strange. I'm like, okay. Like, the plot hole itself is just that, like, we're just going to end that way, huh?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
With a big, giant, unanswered question of, like, Monk's delusional. And then my last one is whenever he's like, woohoo, and he jumps on the bench at the end, there's a giant picture, and it is so crooked. Like, so crooked. Like, visibly crooked. I was like,
he's too happy.
Huh, okay. But yeah, that was my last one. You ready to move on?
Yep.
How crazy was Monk this episode?
Plus crazy moments. Wow, that was quick.
Oh my gosh, okay. Out of 10 what?
You ready to move on? Like,
I said out of 10 what?
Out of 10... Sorry, we were trying to speedrun this. Out of 10 porch plants, it is a...
Porsche plants?
Porch plants.
Oh my gosh, you're totally right. He does. He's like, I want to send this back to its natural habitat. It belongs there, not on my mom's front porch.
Yeah, out of 10 porch plants.
Oh, that's so cute. I like that.
Thanks.
Okay, I put out of 10 Natalie notes.
Nice.
Or out of 10 bumper stickers.
Nice.
Or my favorite one is out of 10 burning Subarus. I like that one. Okay, all right. Crazy moments. He keeps laughing. And smiling.
Oh, yeah.
He tries to call Dr. Bell in the middle of the hearing. Monk says his name is already in his clothes. After Natalie offers, kiddingly, oh, do you want me to write your name in your clothes? And he's like, nope, already done. And these clothes are not coming off. You're like, not even when you sleep? Natalie, I'm not going to sleep on the ground. I'm not going to be sleeping at all. I'm going to be awake the whole time. And then she's like, well, you got to make sure you have enough water. And he's like, no, I'm not drinking all weekend. And she's like, what? What? And he's like, Natalie, if I drink water, I make water. You understand? I don't want to start the machine. When he says that's enough schmoozing to the guy he's schmoozing, whenever he gets into the van when they're going to take off to go camping, he's like, woohoo!
Oh, yeah.
So
like, no, does he say, he's just like, woo, woo, or something?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Something
it's like a
that.
woohoo,
Like,
but like he,
woo, woo,
like he's like trying to do the like semi-truck honk. Yeah, that's like the hand motion he makes, but yeah.
Have you ever been yelled at for that?
By who, your parents or the
like bus drivers?
But who would be yelling at you?
The bus driver.
Oh, like don't do that?
Yeah.
Oh, well that makes sense.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But one time he was like, "What are y'all doing?" And we're like, "What?" Because we don't go in buses because we go to a Catholic school.
Oh,
we're like,
yeah.
What? What?
Y'all just wanted to have fun,
Yeah.
and then the poor bus driver thinks that she's about to kill a bunch of children because the semi's just like, oh, and she's like,
They're like, because we literally, like, every time we did it, someone would do it. Like, every time. Even just regular people, would be like, And she's like, what's happening?
Yeah. But yeah, so Monk, he bug sprays everything. Mm-hmm. He ruins the scary story. Mm-hmm. He sleeps leaning on the tree. Mm-hmm. His womanly scream. Mm-hmm. Paul Revere didn't have a sister. He wants to die by the lake.
Okay.
And his hand was in a fish. Okay, so out of 10 porch plants, how crazy was Monk this episode?
I gave him a 4.
Okay, why so?
Because it felt like a pretty good just number 2 or 3, but then the end scene is just like, what the heck?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
for sure. I put out of 10 burning Subarus, I gave him a 5.
Okay.
Because of the schmoozing. Because he was schmoozing 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Like he's schmoozing the kid, he's schmoozing the guy, and then also Monk and nature don't mix well. Mm-hmm. So I gave him like an average 5. So
woo woo
woo woo
woo woo. You ready? Just go with it.
Rate this episode. That sounded like a mixture between a ghost thing and a Seinfeld. Bow, bow, bow.
All right, sorry, I'll redo that. Rate this episode.
I'm excited to rate this one just because it's a little bit different.
All right, then you can go first.
Really? Okay. I am interested to know what your rating is for sure. But I'm going to go. You just have to promise not to change your answer.
Okay.
Based on mine. Okay. All right, guys. I don't know about this one. It was lacking a lot. Okay. The comedy, the crime, and honestly just overall content, it was lacking. It was slow and just definitely not at the top of my list. It also ends really strangely. And I just really hope this is not anyone's favorite episode because I'm going with a 10.6.
I had a 10.6.
Don't lie.
No, not right now. I had one. I really had one. But then I crunched the numbers. I looked at my entire plans. And I thought this one was better than the UFO. I mean,
okay.
It's
that's interesting.
It's
okay.
boring, but Randy action. Like I gave it a 7.5, which I mean, I think it fits. 7.5. There was a lot of there wasn't really really funny scenes, but there were some funny scenes like the bear and Monk scream, and I don't know. I just something gave me the power to give it an extra 1.5. I don't know. I agree with you on the 6, and I'm not going to criticize you or anything. But yeah.
And that's interesting too, because that's definitely where I was looking at. Because the only other thing that's like close to that is like Mr. Monk's favorite show. And I definitely like Mr. Monk's favorite show better. Yeah. I know yours is completely different from mine, but I like that one way better. So I definitely had to go under that. And then I looked at the UFO because that's the closest thing. So I honestly, I almost rated it, which I reserve the right to change. But I almost made it the same because I didn't know which episode I liked better. Mm-hmm. But I think I was going for comedy is what I was kind of drawing out, like the comparison, because the crime. Also, you know what? I didn't mention the crime about this one. It was extremely easy to write about because there was like essentially no crime. Like there was, like obviously there was. It was two brothers, armored car robbery. And they stole the money, and we knew it was them. The whole plot is them trying to get their bullets back.
That's it. Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
That's why it's so boring.
Which is also what happens in Mr. Monk and the Three Pies. But side note, whatever. But the guy's trying to get his bullet back from the flour and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But yeah. But anyway, so yeah, which made it very easy to write about.
Yeah.
But very boring. And then the UFO was, the brother killed his sister for the insurance money. Like, also not a great crime. So I feel like the crimes were both just eh. And what they were going for as far as, like, the UFO versus the camping.
Yeah.
That, at least I, like, laughed at the UFO. I feel like the only time I laughed in this one was when he screamed. Mm-hmm. I just don't remember laughing any more than that. But I will say that the UFO for, like, any type of like sentimental or like storyline vibe is just void of that. Yeah. Like nothing like, but just pure comedy of like him being a Martian, like being an alien and not from this planet, like fellow Earthlings, like I am not human. Like,
yeah,
like just those little tiny parts. I feel like there was more of those. Where this episode was like all just Monk schmoozing and tried to impress a little kid, which was really cringy. And the UFO was not as cringy as that.
Yeah.
The cringe part was like the Bobo part, where he insults the guy's intelligence.
Yeah.
That was the cringe part. But I do appreciate you not critiquing my 6.
Yeah.
I'm not critiquing your 7.5 either. I think that's fair.
I think we were both given the like weighed out of like it's better or worse than UFO, and we just took different paths.
Yeah.
You thought it was worth it, I thought it was better.
Yeah. So I'll stick with a 6 then.
Okay.
And I think it'll pretty much average out. Those episodes will probably be next to each other. So
yeah. All
right, guys. We got to get Noah 3 more episodes. Maybe we'll watch the fortune cookie one. Well, Yay. I won't tell you which one it is. Never mind. Just kidding. We'll just play a random one that I click on. All right, guys. We will see you guys next week, where we only have just a few more episodes left. And if you want to get that viewer's voice in, you better do it like as you heard this 2 weeks ago. Like before that. Yeah. No, you can still try. Because right now we're like, it seems like we're like a week ahead. Like not even a week ahead. We're just recording to be released on that same week. Uh-huh. So we're pretty real time, in other words. So if you want to be on the show one last time, you can call us.
You can call us.
Call us, leave us a voicemail, 323-366-0477.
We're going to watch Community. Get Kandyce caught up to, season 6, end of season 6.
We're going to alternate all night.
All night.
We probably should watch a Monk, though.
We probably should.
Because we watched a Monk last week after our recording, so we should probably watch another one after this recording.
Okay.
Just so.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Junk Monk Podcast. We'd love to hear from you, so please give us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, follow us at Junk Monk Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
If you want to know more about Kandyce, she's at Hardens and Hardhats on Instagram. And if you want to know more about me, Noah L., subscribe to my vlog, Noah Hernandez, on YouTube. Also, you can leave us a voicemail at 323-366-0477 with your questions, comments, or just to show us some love.
Don't forget to catch up on Monk with Amazon Prime Video, and of course, subscribe to our show.
You'll thank me later.